Hello and welcome to another movie review. As always, I'm Kelly and I just got out of Bloodshot. Yeah, I've missed quite a few movies along the way and I'll try to do some catch up and I'll actually have a chance now that everything's getting delayed. Thanks, coronavirus! You suck as much as we all thought you would. But I might as well jump back into this by seeing the most current film that I saw, which is Bloodshot. And oh boy, yeah, this is definitely going on my most disappointed list. I was really looking forward to the Bloodshot movie for two reasons. One, because it's a superhero IP that does not belong to one of the big two. Inject some new blood into this oversaturated market already, and we could actually have something fun. And two, I actually do know a little bit about Bloodshot, mostly from watching comic historian videos and the Ninjask versus the Valiant universe, which if you haven't watched, you should totally watch it. It's actually really enjoyable for being a low budget, YouTube movie. Also, Bloodshot in that was played by Jason David Franks. Yes, the Green Ranger. He looked like this. And unfortunately, the one that we got is just Vin Diesel, and he looks like that. Starting to see why I find this very disappointing. Now, that's not to say that there isn't something here to enjoy. In fact, I know a few people who are enjoying this kind of ironically. It's a early 2000s-esque action movie, and there is some enjoyment if you just turn your brain off and go along with the ride. However, much like with the new Hellboy, it just felt like it was executed horribly. The CGI is pretty bad. The dialogue is really cringy at points. Like, there are two characters in particular who are just so freaking insufferable. They almost ruined this movie for me. And when you get down to it, it's pretty much interchangeable with any Vin Diesel action movie. You could change this out for Fast and the Furious, any of them, or any of the triple X's. It's just that, but without the balls of like having go hardcore rated R, which might have at least made it fun. You would have put it in the same league as like Crank or something. And my question is, why not? Obvious answer is PG-13. You can get a appeal from a wider base and actually dive deep into that whole superhero market. But I feel that the movie suffers because they didn't want to have the balls to actually go that far. However, with that said, there are some positives I can point out to this. So for those who only wanted the non-spoilers, there you go. From here on out, free game. Let's start with what I thought this movie did good. Now, I should start off by saying that if you want any enjoyment in this movie, you should not watch the trailer. If you watch the trailer, too much of this movie is spoiled outright, and it's pretty much spoiled in plot point order of everything that happens. So, don't watch the trailer. With that said, if you did watch it and approach it from the mindset of, you haven't seen the trailer, you don't know what's going to happen, I'd say that the setup of him, being brainwashed into committing all of these murders, for personal vendetta reasons and whatnot, actually really does hold true. And it's one of the few parts in the movie, the first opening 20 minutes or so of this movie, really, really works. This is when Vin Diesel is at his best. He's basically playing Dominic Toretto if you'd killed Michelle Rodriguez again. Yeah, and he just goes on a killing spree because he's basically Terminator at this point. Bloodshot's whole thing is that he has billions of nanites in his system, so no matter what damage he gets, he's like instantly repaired. Think Deadpool, but he acts more like Terminator, or, let's be honest, Deathstroke if you were ever done right from the comics. And in these opening action scenes, you can see the, style that they're trying to go for. The opening action scene that Bloodshot has in this is he crashes a flower truck inside of a tunnel to cut off this convoy so he can get to them one at a time, one by one, and make sure they can't get away. But the entire time, it's all bathed in red light. There's smoke particulates inside of the air with the flower going everywhere, and you see just the glow of his chest. This kind of style, it really works for this film, even if it's not done particularly well, especially later in the movie. And that's the best way to cover up bad effects, in my opinion, is you either make them so good that we don't notice them, or make them so stylized that we don't really care that they're there. And there's just some good, moments where you can just pause this movie and just say, that is a work of art right there. That works. There's just no real other way to describe it except for cool. It's a cool visual. And I wish that more of the film had reached the levels of that first 20 minutes in the opening scene when they do this. But unfortunately they didn't. Yeah, not much to talk about in the good section, so going on the bad, you're going to notice it right off the bat. The CGI in this looks horrible. And there is a lot of it. A lot of it that did not need to be there, in fact. Because a lot of the CGI in this is the action sequences. Which, yeah, I know why they shot the first one in a dark cave and put so many particle effects inside the air to cover up everything. Again, they were trying to overcome their bad CGI with style. However, when they do action scenes out in the daylight, it's very noticeable that this is CGI or green screen, and it looks gaudy as all hell. In particular are some of the designs of the characters, which are given like weird color enhancements so that you can see their CGI doubled, I guess, better. Like this blind soldier who has this camera vest on so he can see and whatnot. On his legs, he's got all these green streaks and bright green shoes. And the only reason they seem to have done that was so that when they switched to a CGI version of him, you can keep track of which part of his body is which, because 90% of the fighting in this is them falling down something and doing a little struggle in the air. That's pretty much it. And by God, I just watched the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans again recently, and Spider-Man 2 had better effects than this, that held up better. Think about how long it's been. That movie came out like, what, 2004? And this 2020 film has effects that are either on par or subpar below it. God damn. Oh, but let's not go over that. Let's go over the story, which, yeah, if you saw the trailer, you've seen this entire movie's story, and you know exactly what's going to happen, plot point for plot point for plot point for plot point. It is so monotonous. For a 2-hour film, I felt like my ass was sitting there for 2.5, 3 hours waiting for them to get to the next plot point, because they drag their feet. If this at least had been a little bit quicker and, a little bit more punchy, I'd probably be more forgiving of the generic cliche story. But it wasn't. And then, of course, you get to the bad guys. Oh my God, the bad guys. RTS inside of this. Now, Guy Pearce is pretty fine. I like the idea they're going for with his character. However, his lead henchman, this gum-chewing asshole who feels like he was thought up by a 10-year-old who thinks chewing gum and just sitting there looking at you scowling is the pinnacle of badassery. The guy was a tool. He was more of a Muppet than their CGI puppets they used in fight scenes. He is so fucking stupid, useless, and every time he opens his goddamn mouth to talk, it's literally just a spew exposition to over-explain everything that we should be able to get without him dropping all these beats in front of us. And again, he's the thing that caps that opening 20 minutes that I feel really does work, because it ends with him basically gloating, sticking his gum under this super expensive operating table like a jackass, and going up to Vin Diesel, who's strapped down to a chair to get recharged, or reprogrammed, let's be honest, and gloat, telling him all of the dirty secrets, how they've been using him and gonna wipe his memory and crap. And the best part of his day is that he gets to do this and he won't even fucking remember. We didn't need you to drop all the exposition. We can watch the movie. We can see what's fucking happening for ourselves. But of course, the bad guys are not the only one that have an annoying side character who won't shut the fuck up. We've got the good guy hacker who helps Vin Diesel get free of all of his evil programming. This guy was a fucking tool who would not shut up. They're trying to go for eccentric, hacker type, but it's the 2000s era hacker type. The kind that just clicks on the keyboard without ever fucking doing anything. Also, I'm going to school for computer information technology right now, and, I just have to put out one of those job-specific rants, The big CEO at one point learns that open source software was used in this super expensive programming for Vin Diesel, and he gets mad at his lead tech guy for doing that. I'm like, dude, that's the entire business model of fucking Google. He did what he was supposed to. Quit acting acting like a jackass. That's a stupid nitpick, but it's just one of those things that just kind of stands out to me because I'm so bored with everything else. Everyone's just telling me what's supposed to happen in the movie. Everyone's dropping all the fucking exposition every 5 minutes, and the action scenes aren't really even that good outside the first 20 minutes of this movie. It just feels been there, done that. This is very indistinguishable between the Fast and the Furious franchise and the freaking Triple X franchise. It's just another one of those Vin Diesel movies, and Bloodshot should not be that. Valiant should have a better film than this, and I think a good start for it would have been just leaving Jason David Franks as Bloodshot and giving him this movie. They never would have done that because Vin Diesel is a much bigger and more recognizable name. And what we got was a Vin Diesel movie. Yay. Yeah, there's no other way to put it. My personal final verdict is this is a very, very unfortunate skip it. There's almost nothing here. And what little there is here, you've seen done better in other movies. As far as just good comic book movies, we get a plethora of those. You don't need to stick your hands inside of this mediocre crap. Honest to God, if I were to say which comic book movie in theaters you should go see, I'd recommend Birds of Prey way more than I would this thing. And honestly, that's it from me. Have you seen Bloodshot? Are you aware of his comic book counterpart? Tell me what you thought about this movie in the comments down below. Let's get some healthy discussion going. And as always, if you want to help support the channel or you like my video, hit the like button, share with friends, follow me on all my social medias, Twitter and Twitch, which should be linked in the description down below, and leave comments because that helps boost this channel. And if you do want more from me, I do stream every single Thursday right here on YouTube at 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's my personal time zone. I'm not going to figure out what that is in everyone's. And yeah, that's it from me, and see you all next time.